What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, we're doing a tutorial and playthrough of MINDBURNERS, a cyber occult dungeon runner game by Nathan Meunier. You may be familiar with Nathan's other game, Doom Machine, and I believe he's got a couple of other games as well, but the one I'm most familiar with is his Mint Tin game, Doom Machine. Now, I believe MINDBURNERS rather, came out prior to Doom Machine, but both are fantastic games, guys, and yeah, we're going to hop right into this tutorial and play through here, and I'll teach you how to play this small box game right here. So it's got great artwork. First of all, I want to point that out. I really love Nathan's use of sort of like tri-tone colors. He did the same thing in Doom Machine, where it's got cooler colors like cyans and blues mixed with yellow. And here in MINDBURNERS, it's warm colors. So he's got orange and red mixed in with the yellow colors as well. Looks really, really good. And on the back of the box here, it says, "Prepare to enter the void. Set in a grim world of technology, magic, and dark corruption, MINDBURNERS is a cyber occult dungeon runner game for 1 to 4 players. As void runners, players must arm themselves with powerful abilities, push their luck to gather energy resources, thwart their opponents, battle nightmarish creatures, and be the first to seal the breach to close the void forever." And then it gives you a little list of components down this way. It also says on the side of the box here, it's for 1 to 4 players. Takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play, and it's for ages 13 and up. So we're going to go ahead and open up the box here. I'll set the lid off to the side, and we'll go over the contents of the box. So we've got this little rule book here. It's basically just a piece of paper, and you can unfold it. It's got all the rules on the front here, and if you flip it over, it's got some more rules on the back, including for a solo mode variant, which is what we're going to be playing in the game today. But I'll explain the rules for both modes. So we'll go ahead and set that off to the side. We've got a little baggie with some components in it. We'll check these out. So you're going to get some meeples. You're going to get these 4 pretty big meeples here because you can play with up to 4 players. If you're playing with multiple players, you're going to use these little meeples, and you'll select one as your character, and you'll use that to keep track of where you are in the void. If you're playing single player, you won't even need these. You won't need these meeples at all. So for this solo player, we're just going to dump these back in the bag here. And then you've got some little cubes. You've got 4 of these red cubes. You've got 4 orange cubes. And you've got 4 yellow cubes. And you're going to use these for your stat trackers. And then you get 1 6-sided die right here to roll for some roll events. Okay, so in the single player mode, we only need 1 of each color. If you're playing with multiple people, you each get 1 of each of the colored cubes. 1 red, 1 orange, and 1 yellow. We'll dump the rest back in the bag, set those off to the side, and we'll set these down this way along with our D6. And then the rest of the components in the box are cards. The game comes with a bunch of cards, so let's dump all of those out here and try not to make too big of a mess. And we're going to go over the different types of cards in the game. There's only a few. It's pretty simple. The game is fairly simple. I can tell you that right out of the gate. It's a pretty simple little game. All right, so let's check out what we've got here. First thing we've got is these tracker cards. So there's going to be 4 of each of these trackers. You've got your HP and energy tracker here, and there's 4 of them if you want to play with up to 4 players. And then you've got your victory point or VP and overdrive trackers here, and there's 4 of those as well. So we're only going to be playing by our lonesome, so we're going to take 1 of these energy and HP trackers, and then 1 of the victory point and overcharge trackers. And what you're going to do is, in solo mode, you don't use the overcharged skill. And I'll get into how that works, but you're not going to use that whenever you're playing solo mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our HP and energy card, and we're going to overlay it on top of that overcharged area of the card for the victory points and overcharge card. And we're just going to set it there like that to where the victory points part is poking out of the top. And then we're going to take our cubes and set them up. We're going to take the red cube and put it on 5 on the HP track. We're going to take the yellow cube, put it on 5 on the energy track. And we're going to take the orange cube and put it on 0 on the victory point track. And then these other 6 cards here, if you're playing with buddies, you'll each get your own trackers. But when you're playing solo mode, you actually flip these 6 cards over and they become a timer. So this is going to be a 6-turn timer. We're going to set that over this way, and I'll show you how that works in just a little bit. Then the rest of the cards, you've got some ability cards here, and you also have some more ability cards, but you're going to use some of them depending on what mode you're playing, and others you won't. So if you're playing multiplayer, you would use all of these. You would mix all of the ability cards together and deal them out to everyone playing. If you're playing solo mode, you're going to remove the 11 cards that pertain to other players. They'll say things like prevent another player's ability from taking effect, and or they'll say things like force all other players to leave the void. So again, if you're playing by yourself, there aren't any other players, so you're not going to use these cards, and there's 11 of them. They're Paralytic Gaze, Spectral Shove, Enhanced Pain, Burning Hands, Mind Hack, Cursed Victory, Death Harvester, Life Shot, Siphon Luck, Data Drain, and Telepathic Pull. So if you're confused about which of the 11 cards to get rid of if you're playing by yourself, those are the ones right there. So you're going to take these and set them off to the side. We're not going to need them for this playthrough. Again, if you're playing multiplayer, you'll mix all of those in with the rest of the ability cards here. And there are 13 ability cards left over if you're playing solo player. So for the solo player mode, which we're playing today, you're going to shuffle up the ability cards. And then you're going to remove 5 of them at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to add some variability to each time you play, give a little bit of variance to the game. You're not always going to get the same exact ability cards each time, which is really cool. And that will leave you with 8 ability cards left over. And then we've got, next up are the roll event cards. So we're going to take a look at the roll events. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 roll events here, and essentially what these are is you'll run into roll events as you make your way through the void, and they'll each have a little die like chart down at the bottom that you'll have to roll your die on and see what outcome you get on the chart. So there's a bunch of different ones that you can run into. There's traps, there's good things you can run into, there's helpful things. So a bunch of different little events that you can run into here in the roll events deck, and you're going to shuffle these up. And similarly to the abilities, you're going to remove 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll be left with 7 of these roll events. And you'll set them up this way, and the rest you'll move off to the side. And again, this adds some variability to the game, so each time you play the solo mode, it'll feel different. Again, if you're playing the multiplayer mode, you wouldn't remove any of those cards. You would use all the abilities and all of the roll events. And then last but not least, the last type of card that we have is the void cards, and this is going to make up the actual void that you're running through and trying to close as a void runner. And there are 10 of these void cards, and it's good to familiarize yourself with them because these 10 cards are what you're going to be running through every time you go through the void phase of the game, and I'll get into the phases of the game in just a moment. So there are creatures that you can run into. There's the Vile Dangler that deals 1 damage to you. There's also the Preserved Sentience that deals 1 damage, and it tells you down here all players take 1 damage, and then it'll show a little heart icon to show how much damage you would actually take. There's also the Liquid Mother. It deals 2 damage to all players. There's the Ballistic Corpse, also deals 2 damage to all players. There's the Doombringer that deals 3 damage to all players. And the Ominous Orb that also deals 3 damage to all players. So you can see that there are 2 of each. 2 1 damage, 2 2 damage, and 2 3 damage. And that is important information to keep track of as you're going through the void. Also, there are 2 Chance Matrices. So when you run into a chance matrix, it says to draw a roll event card, which is these roll event cards up this way. And then all players must roll and resolve the event. Simple as that. You would just take one of these cards, flip it over, roll the d6, and resolve the event on the chart on the card. And then the last 2 types of cards that you can get are these void beacons. And it says that all players immediately gain 1 victory point. So this is what you're going for. You're trying to find these big orange crystal void beacon cards in order to increase your victory point tracker, and once you get to 10 victory points, you win the game. So that is very, very important that you find these void beacons as you run through the void. So again, it's important to know that there are the 6 enemies, 2 of each damage type, 1, 2, and 3, that there are 2 chance matrices, and then 2 void beacons. That information is definitely going to influence the decisions you make as you run through the void, which you'll see soon enough. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the void cards. And this will form our first void that we're going to breach. And we'll set this over this way. And we've got everything set up and ready to go. So there are 2 phases in MINDBURNERS. The first phase is the preparation phase, and the second phase is the void run. So during the preparation phase, you can do a few different things. The first thing you're going to do is set your HP to 5. After every void run and you go back to the preparation phase, you'll always reset your health to 5, and it's got a little white outline around the 5, just to remind you that that's where you need to set your cube after each run. And then you're also going to draw ability cards. If you're playing the multiplayer version of the game, it'll be the same as the solo player version of the game. You'll draw 3 ability cards at the beginning of your turn. So we're going to go ahead and draw our 3 ability cards. And I'll go over these and tell you how these work. So we've got a little bit of information on the cards here. Up at the top left, it'll show you the energy cost that is required to play these cards. So you'd have to spend that much energy from your energy track in order to play those cards. For the Doom Collector, it's got a little dash minus symbol. That means it costs nothing. You can just play that card for free. The Infernal Armor costs 1 energy, and the Invisibility Matrix costs 3 energy. And then you just do what they say on the cards. For instance, if we played the Invisibility Matrix, we would spend 3 energy. And then it would say, skip a creature encounter of your choice. So if we came across a really gnarly creature and we didn't want to take the damage, we could play the Invisibility Matrix and skip it. Now, there is another little icon that we didn't get in our opening hand. So I'm going to look through the deck and see if we got any here. Okay, we do have one. If you get an ability card that has this little P icon underneath the energy cost, that means that you can play this card during the preparation phase. If it doesn't have that P, you can only play the card during the void run. So all 3 of these, they don't have that little P preparation symbol, which means that we can only use these during the actual void run section of the round. But if it does have the P, you can play it during the preparation phase or during the void run phase of the game. So that's important to note. So I'll give those a little mix again. Okay, cool. So we can't play any of our ability cards during the preparation phase right now because they don't have the little P symbol as we just talked about. So what we can do is we can use our preparation actions that are listed down here on the bottom of our HP and energy tracker. There are 3 different actions you can take. You can spend 2 energy and convert it into 1 HP up to a maximum of 10 HP. You can do that as many times as you like, as long as you have the energy for it and as long as you don't exceed 10 HP. Also, you can spend 1 HP to draw an extra ability card and add it to your hand, and you can do that as many times as you want, as long as it wouldn't reduce your HP down to 0. And finally, if you have 10 energy, you can spend, and you don't have to have exactly 10, but if you have at least 10 energy, you can spend 10 energy in order to overcharge. Now, you can only do this if you're playing the multiplayer variant of the game. You cannot do this during solo. Overcharge just doesn't come into, it doesn't become a factor at all in the solo player version. But if you are playing multiplayer and you want to spend your 10 energy to overcharge, you would slide this card down, you would become overcharged, and now you would start with 6 HP at the start of each run instead of 5. So you would end up putting your cube at 6 at the beginning of each void run instead of 5. Also, you would draw 1 extra card during the preparation phase, so you would gain a 4th ability card in your hand during the preparation phase. Now, if you ever lose all of your health during a void run, you lose your overcharged, and you would slide this card back up, and you would have to attain it again by acquiring 10 energy and spending them again in order to overcharge. But once again, since we're playing the solo mode, there is no overcharging, so we're not even going to have to take that into consideration. Okay, now we are done with the preparation phase. We've done all the things that we want to do. Actually, you know what, guys? I think I'm actually going to spend 2 energy, and we're going to gain 1 HP, and we're going to go up to 6. Because remember, it's got the little handy-dandy conversion chart down here. So for 2 energy, you can convert that into 1 HP. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And yeah, I think that's good considering that we still have 3 energy left over. And if I really want to, I could play this Invisibility Matrix, or I could even play this Infernal Armor if I want to. And we can always play the Doom Collector for free. So let's check out our items real quick before we go in, our abilities. So the Invisibility Matrix says for 3 energy, skip a creature encounter of your choice. Simple enough, self-explanatory. If there's a big bad creature coming out that deals a bunch of damage and we don't want to deal with it, we can just skip it. The Infernal Armor says take 1 less damage from this creature encounter, and you may pay 1 energy to prevent 1 more damage. So we could spend 1 energy to prevent a damage, and we could tack on another energy to prevent 1 more damage from it. And then the Doom Collector costs 0 energy and says, if you die this run, you may store the energy you would lose. And I'll show you how that works soon enough. As you make your way into the void for every card that you successfully resolve, if you make it out alive, you'll gain that number of energy toward your energy tracker. And if you die and lose all your health, normally you would lose out on all of that energy that you would have gained. But with the Doom Collector, if you die, you may store that energy that you would have lost. Really, really good, especially since it costs nothing to play. This card is very powerful, very powerful. Okay, so we're done with the preparation phase. That is the first phase of every round. Now we're going to move to the second phase, which is the void run. And those 2 phases will just loop, and that will be the gameplay loop. So you take the top card of the void deck, you flip it over, and you resolve the card. So we've got this void event. All of these cards, all 10 of the cards are considered void events, and it is a creature, the ominous orb. All players take 3 damage. I don't like that so much. So I'm going to spend my 3 energy, and I'm going to use the invisibility matrix, and we're going to skip a creature encounter of our choice, and we're going to skip the encounter with the ominous orb. So the card still stays in play, and it will count toward being one of the cards that we resolved from the void deck, so we'll still get 1 energy if we manage to make it out of the void alive. But we just don't suffer any of the damage from that card. We get to skip it. Okay, now comes the part where we want to decide if we're going to push our luck or if we're going to exit the void. If we were to exit the void now, we would tally up the number of resolved void cards that we've played, void events that we've resolved, and we would add that to our energy total over this way. If we decide to stay in, we'll flip over the next card and we'll have to suffer whatever the consequences of that card are. Also, it's worth noting too, if you're playing the multiplayer variant, let me grab a couple of these meeples. If you are playing the multiplayer variant and each of you and your friends has a meeple assigned to them, in this case, let's say I'm red and I'm playing with my buddy and they are yellow. Let's say I get to this, we're both on this void event. You would set your meeple either next to or on the card to show that that's where you are. And then you would flip another card. I'm not going to flip it now so we don't spoil it. But let's say we both decide, we move to the next one. And then let's say I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I don't want to go any further. Maybe my health is getting too low and I don't want to risk it. But my friend is like, well, I want to keep going in the void. I'm going to push my luck. So he would draw another card. He would move on to that one. Let's say he wants to go again. Now I'm done. My run through the void is done. I have exited the void, but I have to wait for all other players to finish. So let's say he goes again. And then let's say at this point, he's still alive and he's like, you know what? I think I'm just going to end my run here. So then the void run section of the round would end. And then we would each tally up how many of our energy points we're going to acquire depending on how many of the void cards we resolved. So for our buddy over here, he would have resolved 4. So he would get 4 energy and I would have resolved 2. So I'd only get 2 energy. So that's what you use the meeples for, to keep track of where you are in the void as you're playing the game. But whenever you're playing solo player, it's not necessary to use the meeples, and it even states that in the rulebook because it's self-evident where you are by the number of cards that you've dealt out on the table. Okay, so I'm going to push my luck here and keep on going. And we found a void beacon. All players immediately gain 1 victory point. Nice. So remember, the goal of the game, whether you're playing multiplayer or single player, is to reach 10 victory points. If you're playing multiplayer and more than one player reaches 10 victory points at the end of a round, the winner is decided by tallying up your HP plus your energy to figure out who the winner is. And while it doesn't explicitly mention it in the rulebook, if you tie there, then I don't know, play rock, paper, scissors or something, or flip a coin. I'm really not sure what you do at that point. However you want to do it is up to you. But generally, whoever reaches 10 first, or if multiple players reach 10 simultaneously at the end of a round, you tally up the HP plus the energy, and whoever has the most wins the game. But in the case of solo player, you're just trying to reach 10 victory points before these 6 timer cards are counted down. And at the end of both phases, an entire round, the preparation phase, and then a void run, you'll count down one of these cards, and when the 6th one is removed at the end of the 6th round, you lose the game if you haven't reached 10 victory points by that point. So we're going to continue on. I want to go deeper into the void. We found a vile dangler. It's going to deal 1 damage to us. We're going to go down to 5. I'm going to keep going in the void. Oh man. Okay, we found a doombringer. He's going to deal 3 damage to us. 1, 2, 3. Now we're down to 2 health. Now this is where it gets really tricky because I know that there are 2 more enemies in the deck that deal 2 damage, because we've seen the 2 that deal 3 damage. There's also 1 left that deals 1 damage, which I'm not so worried about. And I know there's another void beacon I can find and 2 roll event chance matrices I could find, or matrices rather. But if I draw into a 2 damage guy, we're going to lose all of our HP and then we're going to miss out on all of this energy. So I'm going to exit the void here. I'm going to go ahead and exit the void, and I'm going to count down 1 on the timer here, and I'm going to gain all of the energy from it. So I guess before we count down, because that's actually the very last thing you should do, let's finish up the void phase and then we'll count this down at the end. Because once you get rid of that 6th card, that's when you technically would lose if you haven't reached 10. So we're going to exit here. We've completed 4 of these cards. We resolved them successfully and we survived. So we're going to gain 4 energy, go up to 4. We'll take these void cards, add them back to the void deck, shuffle it up, and this is going to form a new void for us to enter in our next breach. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is, if you make it out alive, you can choose to discard all the cards in your hand, or you can choose to hang on to one of them. Now, you can only hang on to one. You can't hang on to more than that, but you don't have to hang on to it. You could choose to discard all of them if you wanted to. In this case, I think I'm actually going to hang on to the Infernal Armor, and I'm going to discard the Doom Collector. Now, the thinking here too is if I were to discard the Infernal Armor also, that would free up my hand to be able to draw 3 new ability cards. Since I'm hanging on to this, I'm only going to draw 2 ability cards during my next turn. But I kind of like this one. I think it might come in handy, so I'm going to keep it. Another note is if you're playing the multiplayer variant, whenever you discard cards from your hand during the end of the Void run, you will gain energy equal to the printed energy value on the card. Unfortunately, in this case with the Doom Collector, you would gain 0. But let's say that we decided to also discard the Infernal Armor. You would actually gain an energy because you would gain the energy equal to the energy cost of the card. In single player, however, you do not gain any extra energy from cards that you discard from your hand. You'll only gain energy from resolved cards in the Void that you completed if you made it out alive. Okay, now we're going to enter the preparation phase. Before we do so, we're going to tick down 1 on the timer over this way. So we have 5 Void runs left to earn 10 victory points before we lose the game. Now, during the preparation phase, we're going to set our HP back to 5. We're going to draw up to 3 cards again. We've already got 1, so we're going to draw another and another. And we've got Second Soul. It costs 2 energy. If you would die this run, play this card to revive with 1 HP. Very powerful. And then we've got the Thought Shield. It costs 2 energy. And when you are about to take damage, you prevent that damage. Also extremely, extremely powerful. Okay, I think we are pretty much ready to go. We're done with the preparation phase, unless we wanted to spend any of our energy to gain health, or if we wanted to spend health to take extra ability cards. And again, we ignore overcharge. That doesn't matter. But since we're only at 4 energy and we have a couple cards that cost 2 that I'm probably going to want to use in this next run, I'm not going to expend any energy in order to increase my health. And I definitely don't want to spend any health to take more ability cards because we've only got a limited amount of energy and I can already only afford to play a couple of the cards I have now. So I really don't need any more. So we're going to go into a Void run, and wow, what a good way to start. We got a Void Beacon and we get to immediately gain 1 victory point. So we're up to 2. We need 8 more in order to win. We're going to keep on going. Okay, we got the Liquid Mother. All players take 2 damage. I guess we'll go ahead and do it. We're going to go down to 3 health. And we'll go again. Okay, we got the Void Bringer. I'm going to spend 2 energy and go down to 2, and I'm going to play my Thought Shield. When you are about to take damage, prevent that damage. So we'll just go ahead and prevent the 3 damage. I'm going to push my luck and go deeper in. We got the Vile Dangler. We're going to take 1 damage. I'll push my luck again. Nice. Okay, cool. We found the second Void Beacon, and we go up to 3. Now, I know I'm not going to run into any more Void Beacons, so I could just end my run here and take my 5 energy, or I could push my luck and go further. And since we have Second Soul, which is going to revive us, even if we draw into a 2 or 3 damage card that would take our health down to 0, we could play Second Soul to revive. So I'm going to try to squeeze out some more energy from this run. And we got a Chance Matrix. So we're going to draw a roll event and resolve it. So you draw a roll event and ooh, okay. We found the Void Shapeshifter. So with these roll events, you're going to roll the D6, consult the chart, and then just do whatever the outcome is. So we're going to roll. We rolled a 5. A 5 to a 6, or if you roll a 5 or a 6, it says take 2 damage. Yikes. So we would take 2 damage and die, but I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 energy to play my Second Soul. And if you would die this run, play this card to revive with 1 HP. So I'm going to play that, and we will revive with 1 HP and spare ourselves from dying. Had we rolled a 1 or a 2, we would have taken 0 damage. And had we rolled a 3 or a 4, we would have taken 1 damage. And we'll discard this card over this way. And now that we're at this point and we only have 1 health left and we have no safety net, I'm going to exit the Void right here. And we're going to gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy and go up to 6 on our energy meter. We'll take the Void cards. We'll shuffle them back into the Void deck to form a new Void for us to breach. Okay, we've only got 1 card left in our hand, and I think I'm actually just going to hang on to it again. We're going to keep the Infernal Armor, and that is it. We need to tick down the timer again. We've got 4 turns left. We're going to go to the preparation phase. We'll gain 5 HP. We draw back up to 3 ability cards. We got Void Sight. Look at the next Void card and before deciding whether to stay and continue the run. So this lets us kind of peek at the next card to see if we want to stay or exit the Void. And then we've got the Blood program, which says gain 4 HP. And this has the little P symbol on it, which means we can play it during the preparation phase if we would choose to do so. You know what? We are going to choose to do so. I'm going to spend 3, and we're going to play the Blood program and gain 4 HP and go up to 9. So we spent 3 energy, play the card, go up to 9 health. That's going to give us a good buffer going into this next Void here. And I think I'm just going to bank the rest of my energy. I don't want to spend any health on drawing any more abilities. I think I'm good here. I want to bank up my health. So we're going to go into this next Void. We'll flip. And we got the Void. I'm sorry, we got the Liquid Mother. It's going to deal 2 damage. So we're going to take 2 and go down to 7. We'll go further in. We got the Doom Bringer. I'm going to spend 2 energy. I'm going to spend 1 for the cost of Infernal Armor that says take 1 less damage from this creature encounter, and then you may pay 1 energy to prevent 1 more damage. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that 2nd energy and prevent an extra damage. So we're only going to take 1 instead of 3. Let's go deeper. And we've got a Chance Matrix. Okay, cool. So we're going to draw a roll event here and see what we got. We got the Primed Terminal. If we roll a 1 or a 6, we gain 1 victory point. That's amazing. If we roll a 2, 3, 4, or a 5, nothing happens. And we got a 5 and nothing happens. That's okay. We tried. We tried to hack into the primed terminal there. It was primed and ready to go, but we weren't successful. We're going to go deeper in. We got the Vile Dangler. It's going to deal 1 damage. We're going to go down to 5 HP. We really need some of those Void Crystals. Found the Ballistic Corpse. It's going to hit us for 2 and put us down to 3. And I'm going to spend my last energy, and we're going to use Void Sight to look at the next Void card before deciding whether to stay and continue this run. So let's go ahead and check it out. And it's the Ominous Orb, and we know that if we draw this, it's going to deal 3 damage to us and take us down to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and exit the Void. The Void Sight came in handy big time. Unfortunately, we didn't find any of the Void Crystals there to get more victory points, but we are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy since we made it out alive and go up to 5. Then we'll scoop up these cards, shuffle it up, and I'm sure by this point, you guys pretty much get the gist of MINDBURNERS. This is the gameplay loop. You do the preparation phase, and then you do Void runs in an attempt to collect the 10 victory points. And we're going to keep going, guys. We're going to keep going and see if we can manage to do it. We've got no cards in our hand, so we just skip that phase, and then we tick down the timer, and we've got 3 turns left to go here. All right. Preparation phase. We go back up to 5 HP. We draw 3 ability cards. Once the deck runs out, you'll take the discard pile, shuffle it up to form a new ability deck, and you'll continue drawing cards from it. So we got See the Unseeable, Thought Shield, and Invisibility Matrix. So the only one we haven't looked at yet is See the Unseeable. It costs 6 energy, very expensive. It says draw the next 3 Void cards, look at them, and return them in any order face down. That's pretty cool. So we get to kind of peek ahead. It's sort of like that Void Vision or whatever it was, but like on steroids. We get to look at 3 and then arrange them however we want. Really cool. Okay. Do I want to spend any of my energy for health? I don't think so, because I want to save it. We've got 5 energy. This costs 3 and this costs 2. I want to save these to prevent damage with Thought Shield and to skip an enemy encounter, creature encounter with Invisibility Matrix. So we're going to go with that. We're going to enter the Void, and we've got a Chance Matrix. We're going to draw a roll event card and resolve it. We got the Writhing Obelisk. If you roll a 1 or a 5, nothing happens. If you roll a 2 or a 4, you discard 1 ability. And if you roll a 3 or a 6, you discard 2 abilities. This could be gnarly. And it is. I rolled a 6 and I've got to discard 2 abilities. That is horrible. Okay, I'm going to discard See the Unseeable, and I'm actually going to discard Invisibility Matrix. Although it lets you skip a creature encounter, it's essentially the same thing as Thought Shield, which lets you prevent all damage. It's the same thing. You're preventing all damage, but this costs 3 and this costs 2. So Thought Shield is just objectively a better ability. So we're going to get rid of the Invisibility Matrix. And yeah, that sucked. That Writhing Obelisk was, it was writhing like crazy, dude. We shouldn't have gone near that thing. We should not have investigated. Let's keep going. We got the Ballistic Corpse. It's going to deal 2 damage to us. We go down to 3. We're going to go again. We found a Void Beacon. Nice. So we're going to go up to 4. I'm going to push my luck once again. We take 1 damage from the Vile Dangler. We're going to go again. We take 1 damage from the Preserved Sentience. We're down to 1 HP. Can we get another Void Beacon? We can. Let's go, guys. We go up to 5 victory points. And I'm going to push my luck again, dude. I'm feeling I'm feeling safe. We got this thought shield. So we would take 3 damage from the ominous orb, but I'm going to spend 2 energy. And when you are about to take damage, prevent that damage. And I know that there is a 2 damage and a 3 damage creature left in the deck, so I'm not going to push my luck any further. We're going to exit the void and gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 energy and go from 3 up to 10. Okay, now we've got a bunch of energy banked up. I'm feeling better about this. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the void deck, form a new void, like so. And then we have no cards on our hand to discard, and we're going to tick down the timer, and there are 2 cards left. Okay, so we got 2 void runs left to do this. Preparation phase, we go up to 5 HP. Then we're going to draw 3 ability cards. Also, it's cool too because, like I mentioned earlier, when you discard the 5 cards from the ability deck and the roll events, it makes it different each time. And there are some more powerful cards, ability cards, that are not in this deck, and I'm really feeling it. We did get some of the good ones though, like Thought Shield and the Invisibility Matrix. But yeah, there's a really good one. Let me see. Let me grab it from over here real quick so I could show you. There's a really good one called Temporal Lapse. It costs 6 energy, and it says skip the next 2 creature encounters. This is like my favorite card to use. There's also Cybernetic Implant. Gain 3 additional HP for this run. You may pay 3 energy to draw another card, and it costs nothing to play. You can use it during the preparation phase, is really good. Circuit Upgrade you can use during the preparation phase. It's free to play. Discard this card and draw 2 more cards. So there's some other really, really powerful ones. Oh, also, Phase Shift. It costs nothing to play. Ignore the effects of one roll event or void event of your choice. So it's basically a Thought Shield or an Invisibility Matrix that costs nothing, and it can negate events from the roll events. This card is maybe the best card in the game, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get any of those, but it's okay. It makes it more of a challenge depending on which cards you get. We're going to draw 1 more. Okay, so we got Void Sight, Infernal Armor, and the Doom Collector here. And do I want to spend any? I think I do. We're going to spend 2 energy to gain an XP. We're going to do it again. I'm going to spend 2 more to gain another XP. And since we've only got a couple cards that cost 1 each, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to spend 2 more and gain another. Technically, this could cost 2 if we want to buff it with the extra energy to block an extra damage, but we still got enough. We've got 4 energy, and 3 energy is going to be the maximum that we would spend since Doom Collector is free to play. Okay, cool. We're going to do another Void run, guys. Let's run in and see what we got. Oh, man, right off the bat, a big old enemy. Okay, I'm going to spend 2 energy, and we're going to use the Infernal Armor and boost it up to stop 2 damage instead of 1, and we're only going to take 1 and go down to 7. We're going to keep on going. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, let's just get the gnarly ones out of the way first, I guess. We're going to take 3 damage and go down to 4. We're going to go deeper. Nice, we found a Void Beacon, so we go up to 6. We're going to go deeper. We got the Ballistic Corpse. Oh, man, 1, 2. It's going to hit us for 2. And now I'm going to use my Void Sight and peek at the next card to see if I want to continue. And it's a Void Beacon. I'm definitely going to continue. So we're going to go ahead and grab another Void Beacon and go up to 7. And since we've got the Doom Collector, which says that if you die this run, you may store the energy you would lose. So normally if we reach 0 health and died, we wouldn't be able to bank any of the energy that we would have gotten from these completed, resolved Void cards. But with the Doom Collector, it says if you die this run, you may store the energy you would have lost. So we could still get it anyway. It's basically like we just get the energy no matter what. Dying almost doesn't matter. So I'm going to push my luck here and keep going. We got a Chance Matrix. We found the Reserve Bunker. If we roll a 1, we gain 2 HP. If we roll a 2, 3, 4, or 5, we draw 1 ability card from the ability deck. And if we roll a 6, we gain a victory point. This place is great. Okay, we rolled a 2, so we get to draw 1 ability. And we drew Second Soul. That would be fantastic if we had 1 extra energy right now, but we don't, unfortunately. We'll discard this. We're going to keep going. And we take 2 damage from the Liquid Mother, which would kill us, but we're going to play the Doom Collector. If you die this run, which we did, you may store the energy you would lose. So we're still going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 energy. Go up here. Now, the downside to dying is if you die in the Void, you have to discard all the cards in your hand. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to choose to hang on to the Second Soul card. So we'll go ahead and discard it. So there still is a downside. Also, it's worth mentioning too, if you're able to make it through all 10 of the cards in the Void deck and survive, you'll gain 2 extra victory points, which is always really, really useful. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that quite yet. We've had to bail. So shuffle those up. There's no cards to discard because we died. We got rid of all of them. And then we're going to tick down the timer. And we've got one more chance, guys. We got one more turn to get to 10 points on our victory point tracker over this way. So let's go into the preparation phase. We'll go up to 5. We're going to draw our 3 ability cards. We got the blood program here. The deck has run out, so we'll shuffle up the discard pile. Okay, and then we'll get 2 more. Void Sight and Doom Collector again. Okay. Cool. And then I think I'm going to spend 2, and we're going to gain 1 health. And then during the preparation phase, since this has the preparation icon on it, I'm going to use the blood program. We're going to spend 3 energy, and we're going to gain 4 HP. And we're going to go up to 10. So we're at max HP. Let's go. Okay. I'm not going to spend any of my HP to draw any more abilities because I've only got 2 energy, and yeah, I'd rather the HP than drawing into another card that I potentially can't play. So let's go ahead and head into it, guys. We're going to head into the Void. So for the last time, we got a Void Beacon to start out. That's excellent. We're up to 8. We're going to keep going. We've got the Doom Bringer. It's going to hit us for 3. Yikes. Getting the big enemies early. We're going to keep on going. We got the Vile Dangler. He's going to hit us for 1. We're already down to 6 HP. There we go. We got another Void Beacon. Now we're at 9. Now, since this is our last Void run, we only have 1 chance of winning the game, and that means we've got to get through the entire Void deck, so all 10 of the cards, so that way we can gain the 2 extra victory points at the end. Otherwise, we're going to lose, and I don't think we have enough health to do that because there is still a 3 damage, 2 damage, and a 1 damage left. That totals 8 damage. We've only got 6 HP, and we have no way to mitigate it. Our only hope is that if we run into some chance matrices and do roll events, maybe we'll find another reserve bunker to be able to gain some health or something, but other than that, it's looking pretty grim. Maybe I should have spent the 2 energy to draw another card. I might have drawn that Soul Harvester card, or whichever one it is that lets you revive. Yeah. Oh, but to be fair, then oh no, yeah, because I would have spent an energy or a health to do that. Maybe that was the play. Just for fun, at the end of the game, we're going to flip this top card and see if we would have pulled it. But I'm going to push my luck and keep going. Okay, we got the Liquid Mother. We're going to take 2 damage and go down to 4. We're going to go again. Ooh, we're going to take 1 damage from the Preserved Sentience. And at this point, I'm going to use my Void Sight to peek ahead and see what the next card is. And of course, it's the Ominous Orb. Of course it is. It couldn't be one of the Roll Matrix cards, or Chance Matrix cards. It is what it is. So I'm not going to push my luck into it, because if I do, I'm going to die. I guess I could use Doom Collector. So you know what? We may as well. We'll just go ahead. Then we'll use Doom Collector. If you die, you may store the energy you would lose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we would go up to 8. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter because the timer ticks down and we weren't able to reach 10 right there on the timer. So there it is. Let's see what that next ability card would have been just to see. It was Second Soul. It was Second Soul, and we could have survived. Was there another damage? Okay, we would have had a Chance Matrix, which would have been the Fountain, where we could have gained HP. You got to be kidding me, guys. But then the 2 damage would have taken us out, so I think we would have lost anyways. But there we go, and that last card, of course, was the Chance Matrix. So there it is, guys. There was a playthrough and tutorial for Mind Burners by Nathan Meunier. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough of the game, guys. It is a really cool little solo game to play by yourself, but I can definitely see this game shining in a multiplayer setting where you're going to be using the other ability cards to kind of mess with your opponents, like steal a card at random from another player or steal a victory point from target. They may spend 10 energy to prevent this. When another player gains victory points, you gain it instead. So yeah, there's a lot of cool little ways to manipulate the victory points and stuff in the game, and I could see that being really fun with other players. But as a solo player game, it has a cool little solo player variant, and I really do enjoy it. Very solitaire-esque, very simple, very straightforward, but it's kind of cool. You can kind of, keep track of how many cards are left in the Void deck and sort of game it a little bit and push your luck and kind of, math it out to see what your odds are of succeeding. And we almost made it. We almost made it. I will say too, I've played a handful of times off camera and my win rate is about 50%. So it's not overly difficult. I'm starting to really get the hang of it. I played a couple times last night and once before doing this playthrough, and I won all 3 times. So yeah, the 3 out of my last 4 runs now, I've beaten the game. So you're not going to struggle with it too much, most likely, once you get the hang of it. But it does offer enough of a challenge. And of course, removing 5 of the ability cards and 5 of the roll events will add to some variation and make the game harder. And it was definitely a little bit harder missing out on some of those more powerful abilities, as you can see here. So there it is, guys. If you like the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up like button, hit the red subscribe button, and click the bell to stay notified every time I upload brand new videos. And I'll have more playthroughs of MINDBURNERS coming to the channel very soon, along with other solo tabletop games. And if you want to pick up MINDBURNERS, I'll have a link down in the description. You can head over to thegamecrafter.com, pick up your own copy of the game. So be on the lookout for more videos, guys, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And until then, have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next video.